Fargo CW.
With temperatures on the rise, it's tempting to take a dip in the Red River and its tributaries. But over the last 3 weeks, emergency crews have responded to multiple water rescue calls and have recovered the bodies of 2 missing swimmers. Those events and reports of kids jumping off bridges into water have authorities and locals wondering how to prevent further accidents. Valley News Team's Molly Casey has our story.
I wouldn't let it happen.
A recent post on Nextdoor alerted parents in Osgood to a group of kids jumping off of a bridge into the tributary. And parents in the area are worried their children might try it too.
He would do it, or he would try to follow what they're doing.
Chellen's son is only 3 years old, but he can't help but wonder what could happen.
They can break bones or get taken away by the water.
Tributaries aren't the only area kids and adults are using to cool off. The Red River has attracted swimmers too.
Some of the people that do go swimming there just are having a daredevil moment, I guess.
Gail and Larry Nelson walk near the river frequently and can see why people would jump in.
Doesn't look threatening at all. I wouldn't hesitate if I were a good swimmer to swim across.
But the smooth surface is deceptive.
The people jumping off the bridges and stuff, they don't realize how much debris is sitting underneath those bridges.
That debris and the current make swimming in the river that much more dangerous.
It wouldn't be bad to have a sign saying, you know, current is stronger than you think, beware.
Sign or not, it's safer to stay out of the water. From Fargo, Molly Casey, Valley News Live.
Valley Water Rescue wants to remind you that if you see someone in danger in the river, it's safest to throw them a flotation device and call 911. Do not try to rescue them yourself. And if you need help uncovering fraud and corruption in your community, call us on our whistleblower hotline at 701-237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. Coming up after weather, authorities make one arrest after 2 reports of armed robberies in South Fargo early this morning. Plus, after a home in South Fargo was destroyed by an overnight fire, we're taking a look at why fire crews had to call in backup. But first, Robert, after another warm day, will we see another night of storms?
Yeah, we are seeing the storms in parts of the valley, the far southern valley, seeing some strong and severe storms. Here in Fargo, quiet as we take a live look outside on the CortlandAuto.com Valley Skycam, part of the Storm Team Skycam network. Sun setting here in about 20 minutes or so. Just a few clouds out there, but we've got a lot of cloudiness out there in some locations. We'll show you that here in just a moment. 85, but with a dew point of 74. It is oppressive out there. That's giving us a heat index of 92. Temperatures elsewhere, 77 in Langdon, 86 Gwinner, 87 in Sisseton, 77 rain-cooled degrees down in Aberdeen, and 74 feels kind of refreshing up in the Baudette area. Winds or temperatures combined with humidity, that's giving us a heat index of 93 in Gwinner, 93 in Sisseton, 91 in Valley City. It is a muggy evening indeed. There are your winds. They are light and variable, generally out of the east and the southeast, around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Cloud cover, I mentioned that. Some bright white clouds off towards the west. Starting to see some more cloudiness develop just to the west of our area. And we've got a few areas of showers and thunderstorms. Off towards the south, severe thunderstorms. Brown County, these marching off towards the east at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. The possibility of 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-sized hail with these storms. So we'll continue to watch those right now, just skirting our far southern valley. Off towards the north, watching a couple of areas. This big line of thunderstorms up in Canada. Numerous severe and tornado warnings along with that line of storms, and some brand new storms beginning to form just to the west of our region. Those may intensify as they approach our western counties. We'll continue to watch both of those areas in addition to those storms in the southern counties as we head through the next little while. As we head through the rest of the evening, here come those storms developing off to our west, and they may intensify into some strong and severe storms as they do so, and then weaken as they push off towards the east. Maybe some lingering showers in our far eastern counties as we start off your Thursday. As we head through the day tomorrow, some cooler and drier air makes its way on through, giving us highs rather than in the 80s and 90s in the upper 70s to middle 80s, maybe an isolated sprinkle in far northern Minnesota late in the day. The risk of severe weather has shifted a little bit further north, but marginal risk continues for the entire area. Slight risk for the northern valley. We'll continue to monitor that. The primary threats out of these storms will be some damaging winds and some damaging hail. Fargo, we wake up to another warm morning, but we're not going to see as much of a warm up. Some breezy north winds throughout the day, and we're going to top it out in the middle 80s for a high Picture of the day, a gorgeous shot, some beautiful mammatus clouds near Blanchard. Thanks to Linda for sending that in. Going to use that as the background to our 7-day forecast. Some very early showers, maybe a rumble or two of thunder in our far eastern counties. Mid-80s Thursday, cooler on Friday, only 80, but we'll warm it right back up just in time for the weekend into the mid to upper 80s.
Well, it's nice to see the weekend isn't as sweltering hot. We'll get a little bit of relief.
A little break before that, and we'll continue to monitor these storms that continue to develop off to our west.
All right. Thank you, Robert.
You got it.
And of course, remember to like Valley News Live on Facebook. You can follow the latest news, weather, and breaking news updates anytime on your feed. Just go ahead and search Valley News Live and like our page, and you'll stay informed throughout the entire day. We've got an update on a story we've been following for you all day. A man has been arrested after police say he was involved in an armed robbery early this morning. Police arrested this man, 27-year-old Kasif Grant, on the armed robbery charge along with 2 other men who had outstanding warrants. Around 3 this morning, police were called here to the Quality Inn off 13th Avenue for the report of an armed robbery involving a gun. Police say a man was outside smoking and was robbed at gunpoint. They got a second report of an armed robbery when they got on scene. Police issued a search warrant for the hotel room and took a total of 7 people into custody. Investigators say they did find a handgun they believe was used in the incident. Grand Forks police got some unexpected help from a citizen tracking down a driver involved in a hit and run. The person that was hit was able to follow the striking vehicle until police arrived. When officers caught up, the car sped off. Their pursuit went on to the interstate and then back onto city streets before the vehicle lost control and went into a ditch at 5th Street Northeast and 5th Avenue Northeast in Grand Forks County. The driver of the vehicle has been identified as 30-year-old Joshua Thompson. He's facing multiple charges, including leaving the scene of an accident and reckless driving. A fire that tore through a South Fargo home early this morning gave firefighters an extra challenge by making them work without fire hydrants. Because of the home's location, it was not required to be a part of a fire hydrant system. Officials say that living outside city limits presents unique challenges in fire, and residents may need to take additional measures to keep their homes safe.
Another thing is home fire sprinklers, which can be put even on a well system. And so if you had a home fire sprinkler, that's a way to extinguish a fire with a very small amount of water right at the very beginning of the fire. And again, that'd be a way to help reduce that risk.
Those living in the neighborhood say they would be happy to get access to fire hydrants, but worry just about how much those services would cost. And the blasts that were loud all over town last night, and not just from the passing storm. Many people set off fireworks into the nighttime sky, something that, remember, is illegal here in the Fargo city limits. So we wanted to know how many 911 calls there were related to fireworks and how many, if any, citations were issued. We poured through the 911 calls from midnight on the 4th through this morning, finding nearly 130 calls across Cass and Clay counties. Fargo police tell us since last Tuesday, they've taken over 230 calls related to fireworks, issuing just 1 citation.
Historically, we don't issue that many citations. Typically, we'll respond to those complaints the best we can, understanding that the sheer volume of those complaints, they might sit for a while, and by the time we get there, they're unfounded.
And remember, there's a petition circulating to make the fireworks legal in Fargo city limits. And noise isn't the only issue police have to deal with when it comes to fireworks. Every year, the 4th of July brings in a number of firework-related injuries. Last night, a man was seriously injured after a firework blew up in his hands outside of the Noble Bar in downtown Fargo. The man has been identified as 46-year-old Richard Taskinen. He was taken to Sanford Health and is expected to survive, but his injuries are significant. But he wasn't the only incident of the holiday. Within the past week, Sanford's emergency department saw several serious firework-related injuries to the hand, body, and eyes. These incidents ranged from minor injuries to serious traumas. Essentia Health says they had 3 people come in with fireworks-related injuries, even over the weekend. Those living with PTSD in Minnesota will soon have a new treatment option. This month, registration for medical marijuana starts. And PTSD was added to the list of qualifying conditions last December. Patients who suffer from the disorder and are certified by a doctor, they'll be able to start receiving treatment starting August 1st. If you want more information on certification, head over to valleynewslive.com. There's a new executive director at the only homeless shelter in Grand Forks. Northland's rescue mission was put in the spotlight after 3 of their residents were found dead in the Greenway over the winter months last year. Sue Sherrick is the new executive director, and she says that 10-day suspensions for violating the rules aren't going away, but there will be a community partnership to watch the Greenway much closely.
As we go on, those rules might change because I don't know if they're always the best rules. And sometimes I think that you have to take a look at things from the opposite lens and say, do these rules help make people successful?
People are barred from the mission if they are found under the influence of drugs or alcohol. They're also in the process of hiring a full-time social worker. They believe that will better address individual client needs more effectively. Not even a month after opening up, the new Roberts Commons parking garage is working to make parking easier in downtown Fargo. Hourly parking is now available at the ramp, approximately 50 spaces for hourly parkers. And parking is free for the first hours and goes up to $8 if you leave your car parked for 6 hours or longer. And you can park for free on weekdays after 5 o'clock and all day on weekends. Contract and reserve parking are available for the garage. If you want more information, go to fargoparking.com. Still ahead tonight.